Now, from WBZ Sports, this is Burton Ernie Talk Football with Fauria.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Burton Ernie Talk Football with Fauria. I'm Steve Burton alongside Ernie Adams and Christian Fauria. A very disappointing loss on Sunday, but more disappointing, guys, are their turnovers. The Patriots beat themselves over and over and over again, Ernie Adams. How do you hold on to the football? How in the world do they have that many turnovers in a football game?
Well, disappointing, that doesn't even begin to express it, because when you run a play on offense, objective number one has to be to end the play with possession of the football.
Very important.
Well, it is.
Unless you score.
Unless you score. But
in the play with the possession of the football.
So rule number one, possess the ball.
Right, and as we talk all the time, ball security. You saw why on Sunday. It's not just talk. When you don't have ball security, it's a disaster, and everybody knows it.
Okay, so, I mean, I would like to give the Steelers a little bit of credit for doing their job correctly, because we're on the crappy end of this stick right now, because we're saying, hey, you got to hold on to the football. But listen, the Steelers were pursuing. They were sacking him. They were sacking Drake May. They punched the ball out, and they took advantage of poor ball handling, and they tackled. And you give them credit. Because in the end, they are just they're hunting for this ball, especially now that they know that it's available.
It was a fumble fest, okay? And what do you do with Rhamondre Stevenson, who fumbles the football?
Yeah, Coach Ernie, what do you do with?
Number one, Steve. When you're high school coach, how did he teach you to carry the football?
High and tight.
High and tight.
High and tight.
High and tight. And I promise you, low and loose doesn't work. You want to know what the problem is? Just take a look at this morning's Boston Globe sports page right up the top. There's a picture of one of the fumbles, and there's the ball. It's kind of low and loose. That doesn't work. It's not going to work, ever. And, how do you fix it?
Yeah, how do you fix it? Did you ever have a player?
Well, we did. One of my absolute favorite people, who's now in the Patriots Hall of Fame.
Had a fumbling issue?
Had a fumbling issue. Kevin Falk. You were there. And, and he...
I remember.
Are you serious?
He was... And he worked on it. And you know what? I think I'm right in saying the last 5 years of his career, he didn't lose a fumble. You can improve it, but you got to get the ball high and tight. If it's low and loose, it's not going to work, ever.
Okay, so that's the technical aspect of it, Ernie. Now, you're the coach. What do you do with the player? Do you bench him? Do you punish him? What do you do with him based on his performance?
Okay, I think number one, of course, is as a coach, you try to help him get better, get this problem solved.
How? How? Because you know what I think it is? You can tell him to hold the ball. Okay. It may be between the ears. How do you help him between the ears?
When he walks in the building in the morning, he gets a football. As soon as
you're going to hand it to him?
I'm going to hand it to him. He's going to because everybody walking around the building is going to be trying to knock it off him.
So practice it even when you're not on the
When you're not on the field. We go out, you do the gauntlet drill at practice. You have ball security drills at practice, because if you don't get it, you've got a good player, but if you don't get this straightened out, you really can't put him in the game.
But it's not only Falk. Drake May.
Well,
Drake May.
Quarterbacks are another issue. You can't be running around with a football like it's a loaf of bread. You need, and that's one thing. I'll mention his name again. You look at Tom in the pocket. He knew when to get, when to get on the control. If you look, the football, it's a very oddly shaped ball. It's not that easy to handle. And if you're doing it wrong, somebody hits you, it's going to come loose.
The aspect, we were arguing about this over the weekend about Drake May. He still hasn't played a full season. So technically, to me, he's still a rookie until after the third game of his second year, which he hasn't done yet. So these technical aspects are learned. I mean, during real time, you have this clock in your back of your head. You know that the rush is coming. You know that something bad is about to happen. So you have to be mindful of the dangerous situation that is coming for you. So you need to just naturally two hands no matter what.
Right. It's where you have the clock in your head. Yeah. And because once it gets past 2.5, 3 seconds, you're in trouble.
What about the tip ball down at the end zone? Okay, you're in the red zone. Okay, what happens when the ball gets tipped? All of a sudden, it's picked off.
I would say because you had a receiver run the corner route,
right,
and he underthrew it a little bit, put no arc on the ball, and so that didn't help, and that throw we always call it meet me at the corner throw. You put it in the corner of the end zone where either your guy gets it or it's incomplete.
It's the safest throw in football.
It's the safest throw. Right, because there's...
Unless it gets picked.
Well, unless it's flat. If he throws it flat and the corner is trailing, I mean, it's pretty easy for him to turn and catch it. That's why you bucket throw it.
So the ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage because he threw it too flat.
Well, right, but you get into a combination of things, but they're both getting tipped and then not arcing the ball to start with.
But if you still look at his stats, if you look at Drake May's completion percentage, I mean, he's still one of the best in the league right now. So you just have to sit there, and nobody wants to hear this. But you have to have patience. It is a work in progress, and I hate to do the cliche thing, but unfortunately, that's the way it is.
You have right, and there's a certain amount of you just got to go out and do it. A couple bad things are going to happen. The big thing is you don't want to repeat the bad things.
Well, that's a stigma you don't want is error repeater.
But you get also. It's being able, like the toughest place to operate as a passer is the red area because it's a lot of people in a confined space. So that's where you spend a lot of time down there, with your quarterback.
And you can't take a turnover in the red area because you come up with no points. It's just brutal. All right, we're going to take a break, but when we come back, we head to the whiteboard with Coach Ernie and Christian Fauria to talk about that final fourth down play that didn't work. You're watching Burton Ernie Talk Football with Fauria. We'll be right back.